scouts are relied on heavily when evaluating talent.
Teams should be drafting for the future and not just immediate needs.
It all starts with the quarterback position.
Thank you for listening to the East West Football Podcast with Jerry Martinez, Kendall Whitley, and now here is your host, Fidel Barraza.
Thank you for watching the East West Football Podcast on the East West Football Network channel on YouTube. This episode is brought to you by Grand Lighthouse Coffee. Make sure to go to grandlighthousecoffee.com and use your promo code EastWest to get 10% off. Tonight we have a special guest. He is the writer and the owner of Sports Talk with L. Green, LeAnder Green. How you doing, LeAnder?
Everything's great, fellas. How you guys doing?
Real good. Appreciate your time.
Nice. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, so we had some fun yesterday talking in our pre-production meeting. If you can just, tell our viewers, our audience, who is LeAnder Green?
Well, LeAnder Green is a young kid that grew up in East Oakland, California, in the 6'9" village, which is right by the Oakland Coliseum. And I'm a big Raider fan, as you can see. Born and raised a Raider fan.
Go Raiders.
Yes, sir. And I've recently just started a blog last month called Sports Talk with L. Green at sportstalkwithlgreen.com, where I write about sports. But I found a better niche by writing about what I love most. That's the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. It's going to be hard to stop saying Oakland Raiders, but yes, Las Vegas Raiders.
How did your passion for writing start?
Well, my passion for writing started back when I was a young kid, getting into a lot of trouble, and my mother used to put me on punishment by making me write. So it started back then, I would say.
And well, we know that you lived by the Coliseum, right? So just kind of tell us how that impacted you, right? As far as being a Raiders fan, you were right next to the Coliseum. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as a kid, I was more into baseball at that time. I was more into baseball, so we lived at the Coliseum. Me and my friends, we used to go over there almost every A's game. A's started at 7:30 back then, so we'd be at the Coliseum at 2:30 getting autographs. We became close with the players. This was between the years of 1988 through 1991. So we was a regular over there at the Coliseum. And then when the Raiders came back home, I believe it was 94, everything gets took it to another level at the Coliseum with Mount Davis being built, more fans coming over to the Coliseum, more traffic in that area, the crowd, just hearing everything getting live over there excited us as kids more. So that's when we dove more into the football part of it. And diving more into the football part of it, you meet a lot of different kind of peoples over there in that tailgate. So it was our home, and Raider Nation is just wonderful. It's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah, of course, we know that Raider Nation is all over the world, including here in California and now in Nevada. Let's talk a little bit about the Las Vegas Raiders. What is your perspective on the 2020 Las Vegas Raiders?
Well, this team looks pretty good to me on paper. This is not your regular Raiders, as I would say, for the last, 18 years. This team was rebuilt by Mike Mayock and John Gruden, and they look like they're ready to play, man. They look like they're ready to play. The draft class of last year will be in their second year, so they got a little something under their belt, and now they got something to go out there and prove. I think this team is going to be a very good surprise team this year.
And we all know, right, about Josh Jacobs. He had a tremendous rookie season last year. And now there's been a lot of hype around Bryan Edwards, a wide receiver out of South Carolina. Is he worth the hype? What do you know about him? What have you seen on tape?
Well, what I've seen on tape is that this kid has a lot of heart and a lot of grit. He's like a blue-collar receiver, if you ask me, with great hands. He's going to be a great red zone threat for the Raiders this season. And I think that once he get his confidence on being an NFL player, once he get used to the grind of the NFL, the sky's the limit for the young fella. Look for him to be a big threat in the red zone for David Carr.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think he's going to have an outstanding rookie campaign along with Henry Ruggs, which was, number or in the first round he was taken with that pick. And there was a lot of surprise, right? Because a lot of people thought that they were going to go towards CeeDee Lamb. What'd you think about when they drafted Henry Ruggs?
I had my hopes up for CeeDee Lamb. I can't lie to you. I had my hopes up for CeeDee Lamb. But within 30 seconds of them announcing the pick, I was like, Russ would be the right pick. Because not only he has speed, this kid only had 4 drops his whole college career. So he has hands. And I know you guys seen the basketball footage of him. He's jumping out the gym. He's a real athlete. So the only question I had at that time is, could he run the route tree? You know, Alabama, they have a lot of great players. So he did not get a lot of touches, but he did open up that offense for a lot of other players. The wide receiver, that they have 3 first-round talent and wide receivers other than Ruggs. 2 should come out in the first round next year. So that ball was being spread around a lot. And it's kind of reminiscent to Josh Jacobs. When people say, oh, he didn't get the ball that much, he was not the number 1 option. Alabama has plenty of options. So Ruggs, you're going to really see his game grow this year with the Raiders.
What's going on with you, LeAnder?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going over there?
I'm doing great. We're just taking it day by day over here at East West Football. That's another day at the office.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about Hunter Renfrow. What are your expectations for him in his second year with the Raiders?
Consistency. He's Mr. Consistent. Third and Renfrow, as they call him. This guy is having a very solid camp this year. Quiet, but solid. Solid. And I expect him to be the leading touchdown receiver for the Raiders this year, believe it or not. I think he finished with at least 12 touchdowns.
Yes, I like Hunter Renfrow. He kind of reminds me of Danny Amendola on Wes Welker. You got Julian Edelman, Scotty Miller for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those slot wide receivers. I think he's going to be pretty good for the Raiders, for the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, he's a little older. I mean, he's not 21, 22 as a lot of second year players. He's like 23, 24. So he's a little older. But right. I do like. What are your expectations for Darren Waller? I mean, a lot of people. I don't want to say he's a top tight end right now. I want to see a little more from him in his second year. So, what you think he's going to do this year?
I think he may have a better year than he did last year. Maybe not yardage wise, but touchdown wise. Last year, I believe he only caught 3 touchdowns. But this year, the offense is going to open up for him because he's not going to no longer be double teamed as much as he was last year with the addition of Ruggs. So you have Ruggs on the outside with the speed. There's going to have to be a safety that's playing over the top on that side. That's going to free up Waller to make more plays.
Yes. Where do you rank the Las Vegas Raiders at right now in the AFC West Division? Me personally, nothing against the Raiders. I think obviously the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, they're number 1. I think Denver is number 2. I think the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers will come in at 3, and then the Raiders at 4. Like I said, no offense to the Raiders. I'm just if we're talking roster-wise, I think the Raiders are at the bottom of the division. I do think they're going to have a pretty good season this year. I think they can win at least 6 or 7 games. I just think they're in a tough division. I don't feel they're going to be able to make it to the playoffs this year. What do you think they rank in the division right now?
Well, in the division, as you said you have the Raiders ranked 4th. I can't argue with you on that. But what I can say is that the Raiders did sweep the Chargers last year. And the Chargers have a great defense. Don't get it messed up. Chargers have a great defense. So I believe that the Raiders in Denver is fighting for that second spot. Now, Denver, they seem like they have a explosive offense. They reloaded this year on offense, but that quarterback is unproven to me. I want to see him do a little bit more before I can say that they're up there and ready to play with the big boys. But it's going to be a fight between Denver and the Raiders. The Chargers, they have a quarterback issue right now. They have a quarterback that's used to just bridging the gap for that young quarterback. This is going to be Tyrod Taylor. This is going to be his 3rd time bridging the gap for a young quarterback.
I kind of agree with you there, man. And in some of our preseason predictions, I said that the Chargers were going to make the playoffs. He's going to win Coach of the Year, and then the quarterback. I just think it's going to be pretty big this year for the Los Angeles Chargers this year. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens there. My last question is to you. What would define a successful season for the Las Vegas Raiders for you?
At minimum, 9-7. At minimum, 9-7. That would be a successful season. But I kind of see the Raiders going 10-6, 11-5 in that range. Yes, they have a tough schedule, but last year's schedule was tougher. And they finished at 7-9. Last year, if the Raiders defense would have finished in the middle of the pack, that could have easily added at least 2 more wins to that win column. Easily. They would have finished 9-7 if their defense would have finished in the middle of the pack. This year, their defense is 100% better than what we've seen in the past. 100% better with the addition of Corey Littleton and Kwiatkowski from the Bears. The linebackers are sold up. We got Max Crosby and Cleveland Farrell, who looks like a new and improved player. Malik Collins coming up the middle. And not only that, there's a lot of depth to this defense now. A lot of depth. And defense wins championships. The Raiders is definitely not ready for a championship, but they're making their way. They're making their way. They're not going to finish 25th or 26th in defense this year. So that's going to add a few more games.
It's kind of like the Cowboys West in Las Vegas because, they got Jeff Heath, they got Jason Witten, they got Malik Collins, they got some Cowboys over there. So it's kind of like the Cowboys West out there in the AFC West. But me personally, I think Justin Herbert is going to lead the Chargers to I ain't going to say they're going to win the division, but I think they're going to get a spot, and I think they're going to be a pretty big dominant team in the playoffs. I think they're going to do something. That's my prediction. But appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Hey, LeAnder. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Just real quick, just so people know, I've been to your website. I've read a ton of your articles already, and there was one thing that we were talking about yesterday, and I said that you have this unique writing, a unique way of writing, right? And it catches my attention, and it keeps me, reading and reading. So if anything, can you explain that to us? Like, was it reading books or just writing? I mean, what was it that kind of helped you to be able to get right to the point and not go in a big full circle, right?
Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you for taking the time out to go onto the website and to look at my articles and give me the time of day. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But my writing style is, to me at least, it's nothing unique. Maybe because it's me and it's coming easy. I'm not able to look at myself. I haven't took time out to critique myself at all. So I just write what comes to mind. And when I'm putting pen to a pad, I like to talk like I'm talking to one of my friends.
Nice technique. So now that you've seen. I mean, we've all been looking at this landscape, right? The whole off season of the NFL. I mean, we've been seeing a bunch of things, as far as college kind of, right? College is making its way into the NFL. What do you foresee the landscape, not only for the Raiders, but maybe for the future of the NFL?
Well, it's going more into that spread offense every year, more and more to that spread offense until the defense proves they can stop it. We've seen what happened with the Wildcat when that came in.
Yeah.
It took a couple of years, but the defensive coordinators are too smart.
Yeah.
And what's going on is that this new wave of offense, it looks great on TV. It sells tickets. It boosts the ratings. But when it comes playoffs, when the weathers get cold, it's smash mouth football, buddy.
I like that.
Back to smash mouth football, running that ball, hitting that tight end, playing great defense. The NFL, you got to be true to the NFL because at the end of the day, you are who you are, and the truth will prevail, and that's the NFL.
So I love that. And real quick, I'm going to ask you for some fantasy advice, right? Because I got a fantasy football draft coming up on Sunday. Should I take Josh Jacobs if I'm on the later, like let's say pick number 8 or 9? Should I take Josh Jacobs?
I would definitely take Josh Jacobs. Name me 3 running backs that's better than him.
Well, I mean, Ezekiel, Saquon, and maybe Christian McCaffrey.
You gotta I say Chris McCaffrey.
Okay.
And Zeke, him and Josh are going to put up around the same type of numbers this year.
Wow.
Yes, Josh and Zeke.
Taking Dalvin Cook or you taking Dalvin Cook or Josh Jacobs?
I'm taking Josh Jacobs.
Is that even
a offensive line? And Josh Jacobs isn't going to be on a tear this year. The Raiders going to open up the offense for him even more. I'm telling you, this boy Henry Ruggs is going to do a lot for the Raiders and the rest of the players in that team.
Yeah, I will say this. So the article I did read, you were highlighting the actual offensive line, right? The Dancing Bear with Trent Brown, the left guard, Rodney Hudson, who you guys took from an inner division, right? He used to be with the
Yes.
Chiefs,
Kansas
right?
City Chiefs.
I mean,
Yes.
you went through the whole entire, you went through the whole offensive line, and you kept it so interesting, right? You're saying there's no more excuses. Josh Jacobs going to have huge lanes to run through, and Derek Carr was going to have time to get the ball to his new playmakers. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much on that. But I do have one last question. A lot of people sometimes they ask for help, right? And they say, man, I want to be in pro football. I want to be in the NFL, and sometimes they don't know how or where to start. Can you share to us what you've done, right? Because I mean, share to us as far as maybe a piece of advice. What would be a good starting point for somebody who wants to make it in the league that you believe?
Well, what I believe is to always follow your heart. Always follow your heart and follow your passion. Do not let no one tell you that you cannot do anything.
Amen.
And if they tell you that you cannot do anything and they closing those doors for you, build your own door. Create your own door.
Yes, sir.
And go after it. Can nobody tell you how you feel about something and how passionate you should be about something? And when you working for someone, they're not actually trying to help your dream per se. You're working towards building their dream.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really have a dream and have a passion, go for it. Don't let nobody stop you. That's the only thing that stops people from getting where they want to go is themselves.
True.
That's the only thing, giving up. I don't care if it takes you 50 years to get to a point A to point B. If you don't give up, you're still going to get there. But if you give up, you never will make it there.
That's true.
You only fail when you quit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and also I think that a lot of people sometimes they'll ask us like, well, how do we get started? Hey man, start a blog. You know what I mean? And I think that you are a living testament to that. And I think that you're doing a great job. And I know that it's only a matter of time before it falls into SI's laps, and man, you're gonna be writing for SI pretty soon. I see it in your future, man. So I'm just saying, congratulate that, and don't forget about us. Don't forget about us on your promotion.
Thank you. And no, I would never forget about you guys. You guys paved the way for me. This is my first show ever. And thanks to you guys made that happen. You guys made my dream come true.
All right.
I owe everything to you guys.
Thank you so much, LeAnder.
Thank you.
Hey, LeAnder, I mean, and just in this type of business, right, you have to network. You have to network with a lot of people because there's a lot of talent out there that I feel like a lot of people don't know about. So whenever I saw your post and then I started reading your articles, I was telling Jerry and Kendall, I was like, hey, I want to bring him on. Like he's got some really great stuff. So with that being said, where can our fans, viewers, and listeners follow you on social media?
Well, on Facebook, they can go to LeAnder Green and follow me there. On Instagram, they can go to Mr. L. Green. That is spelled out MRLDOTGREEN. And on Twitter, it's LeAnder Green, LeAnderGreen. But the place where you need to see me at the most is sportstalkwithlgreen.com.
All right. Thank you so much, LeAnder Green. You guys, make sure you guys visit his website, sportstalkwithlgreen.com. He's got some really great articles, not only on football, but basketball as well. So, Mr. Green, appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.